Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I prepared my Thanksgiving 2022 meal for my little family. So what I'm doing here is cutting up some golden yellow bell peppers, doing a pre-prep to my meals, which I use, of course, veggies to put in practically every dish, almost every dish that I create. And look at that presentation, it's so pretty. So as you just saw me cleaning off my mushrooms with a dampened sponge, that is to get the dirty debris from the mushrooms off of the mushrooms. Always try to clean your mushrooms or you're going to have a very gritty, organic taste to whatever meal you're preparing. For some reason, I find it very relaxing, the chopping of the veggies and or of anything with the knife against the cutting board. To me, it's so relaxing, and I try to have candles burning as I'm preparing my meal just because, I don't know, it's just more soothing to me. Anybody like that? I mean, tell me if you guys are one that, enjoys the sound of the knife against the cutting board. I absolutely love the taste of extra virgin olive oil and garlic. I don't know why, it just goes together. And fresh garlic is one of my favorite go-tos, beyond using garlic salt. But right here, I'm just slicing as thinly as I possibly can some cloves of garlic. Peeling the garlic is one thing that I just don't like, but I do love utilizing fresh garlic in my meals. Whenever I'm chopping and or slicing and or dicing any veggies, it's just so relaxing to me. And onions are a veggie that I absolutely loathe chopping because, of course, it has my eyes burning. And whenever my eyes tear up, I found that opening the freezer and putting your head like in the doorway of the freezer while fanning your face with your hand and having your eyes open wide is so relieving to that sting. I absolutely never saw in my lifetime a carrot so huge. And I got this from an Oriental market. And when I saw this, I absolutely had to have it. A, because it was a steal, and B, because it'll give you a large amount of carrot, which grows the amount of food that you're actually cooking. So this carrot was so fun to chop. I'm kind of hooked on big carrots now. After this, it's time for my oxtails, in which I use EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, and you'll see the pepper flakes and the Creole seasoning. You're gonna see me take the pot off the eye because it started getting a little too hot, so I tried to continue to add my seasonings. And a lot of these seasonings you can actually get from Walmart and or meat markets, but I got the majority of my seasonings from Walmart and Publix. So I'm adding a little more EVOO, giving it a nice stir, and time to add my veggies. My seasonings before I add my veggies is because I'm doing a little pre-cooking of my seasonings, and then I'll add my veggies to saute them down. And if I forget a seasoning, I'll add that and or add some more EVOO depending on the process. I eyeball my seasonings, so I can't tell you an exact amount of how much to add. It's kind of how I learned how to cook. I used to be one for, measuring everything, but I was told that if you don't know how to eyeball your seasonings, then you don't know how to cook. So instead of following directions and or instructions all the time, there will be times where you're gonna have to just follow instructions, But I start listening more to my heart, and I encourage you guys to do the same. And if you already do that, then kudos to you. I love using these curry bouillon cubes. It gives a little more to your meal. Depending on how much meat you're using will depend on how many blocks you use. So I used 2 bags of oxtails, and 1 block was great. So now we're to the red beans, and I use bagged red beans. I soaked them 3 nights on the countertop and covered them with a lot of salt. I rinsed them, and then I added more water and salt, and then I put them in the refrigerator for another 3 days. And it only took about an hour and a half to cook them down. Here I'm adding my seasonings to my soup mix for the beans. So I pre-cooked my rice maybe about 2 hours before I did the beans. So as the beans were becoming done, I would in another pot just add the butter and add my rice, and my rice is seasoned just as my beans are. And I'm just adding my cooked beans, and then I'll saute them down a bit, and those beans were so good. Oh my god, they were so good. How I do my collard greens, I saute my collard greens first, or you can say fry them first, but I use extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil and or safflower or oil, some type of oil that I always use for my collard greens. And just the same, I cook up my seasonings. And as I stated before, you can get these seasonings at Walmart and or Publix, which is my favorite shopping place. I add brown sugar to my collard greens, because to me the collard green itself is a bit bitter, and depending on how big you get your leaves, it's going to be a little more tougher, which is going to be a bit more bitter. So I add brown sugar and also molasses, which in this video I don't think I showed you guys, but I do add a little bit of molasses to my collard greens. Sometimes I even add vinegar, which also balances out the bitterness, but this time I didn't use any vinegar. But if you wanted to add a little bit of vinegar, then you're free to do that. This is actually my first batch of collard greens. The second batch you're going to see in a little bit. This one is purely veggie. The next one is meat. So here I've added my seasonings for my beef neck bones, and I kind of did a little bit different seasoning. I don't remember exactly what I used, but kind of sort of a little bit of the same, but not all of what I put in the collard greens, because I don't like food that just all of it tastes the same. It's all different in its own way. And in these neck bones, I actually added some molasses, as you will see. So in these collard greens, I use some beef sausage from Hillshire Farms, of course. I can tell y'all, and I use some Applewood smoked bacon. I'm just telling y'all, the flavors that I put in these collard greens. These things were so good that I was eating them as they were raw. Of course, you can eat collard greens raw. It felt as if I was cooking these collard greens forever, which kind of was the case, because I added 2 big bags or 2 big bunches of collard greens to this pot. This is actually a huge kitchen pot. It's very deep. I love these collard greens. They were so rich in flavor. collard greens, I do add beef or chicken or vegetable broth to it. I don't add as much because I don't like my collard greens soaked, or I don't like it floating in water. I mean, if that's what you like, go ahead, but that's just not what I do. This is why I pre-saute my collard greens before I cook them down. I let these cook for a while because I wanted these greens to be nice and tender. They weren't overwhelmed in liquid, and they were amazing. Me, I know how to cook some collard greens. So I know I could have presented y'all with a much better plate, but the truth is I had gotten tired of cooking. I cooked everything exactly on Thanksgiving Day. As you can see, I went the non-traditional route, and I let my girls help me cook. So when you see that macaroni and cheese, that's actually the Cheeto macaroni and cheese, because I was just too tired from cooking. I couldn't stand up very much longer, and lo and behold, the day after Thanksgiving, I ended up going to the ER because I was sick, and kind of found out that I had the flu, which was not good. So that kind of contributed to me being tired and just overwhelmed. Yeah, I love y'all. So make sure that you guys take care of yourselves. If you like my video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how I did on it. This is actually my very first video of this stature, and I hope to do more.